Tonight, this is Showbiz Eats. And, I'm kind of frustrated because a lot of you doing the exact same things you was doing before. Tonight, we're going to talk about barbecuing on an open pit fire with the grill. So, I know a lot of you look forward to this. We look forward to it as well. But I'm going to tell you some do's and don'ts. Primarily some don'ts. Let's get right to it. We're not experts about anything that we talk about. We're not experts. But we have a lot of life knowledge about what you should be and shouldn't be doing. So let's get right down to it. Now, one thing about, when you use a grill, you got pellets. But tonight we're going to talk about briquettes and coal. It's a big difference in the two. And you must know this to move forward and not kill your friends. Because see, your friends don't know the difference. But if you want smoky food, you have to know the difference. Now, rule number one. Let's go by some rules. Rules number one, as Showbiz Eats. Don't use lighter food. Don't use lighter fluid at all. Your food is going to taste like lighter fluid. Just don't use it. Now, a lot of you say, why not? Because like I said earlier, your food is going to taste like lighter fluid. And every guy I've ever met overdo it. There are 1,000 ways to start a fire with briquettes or coal. 1,000 ways. Lighter fluid is just number one. Don't do it, okay? And then use two-zone cooking. You have your fire on one side, your meat on the other side. Do not have your meat directly over your fire. That's just stupid, okay? Don't have your meat over your fire. And if you do got a fire that you must use the entire grill grate, then use a fan to blow the heat in a different direction than where the meat is, okay? You can use things like a candle or what they call a coal chimney, where you stack where you start your coals or your briquettes. You start them in the chimney. You pour the chimney into the other briquettes of coals that has not been lighted yet. So it's not a bad idea, okay? And the other thing, I'm gonna tell you, rule number 3, you have to use a thermometer. You can't eyeball food whether it's done or not. You cannot eyeball food. You gotta use a thermometer, and have more than one thermometer, And if you really want to start your fire right, use small pieces of wood. Small pieces of wood with some napkins or some tissue or some newspaper. That will start your fire right away. That's rule number 4. Now, rule number 5. This is where a lot of people get in trouble at. Once you put the covering or the top on the grill, don't open it unless you're going to turn or flip the meat. You cannot watch barbecue cook. This is not 5-year-olds who looking through the window of an oven to see the bread rises. No, no, no. Because once you do that, once you take the top off, it takes time for the temperature to get back to where you want it to be. That takes time. It does not happen instantaneously. It takes time. Okay? So, one thing that really, really bothers me on rule number 6, and a lot of you don't get this. Do not put sauce on my meat unless you're making burnt ends. Let me decide what sauce I want. The meat will speak for itself. If the meat is good and tender, it'll speak for itself. You don't go to Ruth Chris and you get a filet mignon for $50 and you drench it in A1 sauce, or you have the waiter do it for you. That's stupid. You're buying the meat. You want to taste the meat. The sauce should be a complement to the meat, not the meal. Okay? Now, I know some of you find this hard to believe, but most great barbecues chefs do not want sauce on their food. If you're doing competition, that's a different story. But if you're not doing competition, just cook my meat. Don't cook my sauce, okay? So that's just something you just got to deal with. Now, here's one thing that always bothered me. And I got to tell you this because a lot of you don't know this. A lot of you are very, I'm not, yeah, you can say stupid. You must, rule number 7, put a little oil on your grill so the meat don't stick to it. Nobody wants the meat in the back or whatever, or the skin is stuck to the grill, and when you pick the meat up, it tears it off. Nobody wants that. Some of you backyard barbecue grill people who think you're pretty good, I'm not even going to use the word grillologist because you're not there. If you're doing chicken thighs or chicken wings or whatever, and you're ripping half the skin off and half of everything else, that's just it doesn't look right. Okay, it may taste the same, but if you take just a little bit of Pam or virgin olive oil on a napkin and wipe across it, that meat won't stick, and it looks a whole lot better than what you probably think is gonna look when you act like a caveman and just tear it off. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, and here's something that a lot of people don't know, but you should know. If you take the USDA classes on cooking, never use the exact same tongues for raw meat and cooked meat. That's nasty. That will get you sick as hell. You may take salmonella from the raw meat and now put salmonella on the cooked meat. Don't do that. If you only got one set of tongues for your barbecue, don't invite me, because I'm going to see that and think that's not right. Now, rule number 9. This is should be rule number 1. But Showbiz Eats, we made it number 9. Control the temperature. You got to watch the temperature at all times. Whether it's a little temperature gauge, digital or analog on the outside of the grill, which is never accurate. That's why we use probes and other type of things for Wi-Fi. You cannot do that. That's like using the same tongue on raw meat and cooked meat. You don't do that. You just don't do that. Okay. And now, here's something very important. Anybody can cook beef, say a brisket. You let it get to 205 internally. Anybody can do that. But what makes our meats taste better than anybody else's is the rubs and the seasoning. Some people want dry rubs. Some people want wet rubs. Wet rubs is I don't get into the submerging meat into liquids and fluids unless it's a turkey. But I'm all about dry rubs. Dry rubs for a number of reasons. Dry rubs, you can make some parts of the meat more flavorful than other parts. Once you marinate it, it gives you a nice base around the entire piece of meat equally. Well, I use dry rubs because I like for the dry meats, like breast, I like for them to have a lot more seasoning than, say, the dark meat. Now, Boston butt or brisket, I like for them to have a certain amount of rub on, a flat or a point. I like for them to have more seasoning than the non parts of that meat. And I like for, because moisture in, say, dry rubs, moisture, say like in a leg, it's already got moist. A leg is already moist, say on a piece of chicken or cow. But the breast is going to be pretty dry. Okay? So, the other thing too, if I go to your house and you don't have heavy duty aluminum foil, we already got a problem. We got a problem because you got to have some heavy duty aluminum foil. And you can't just get a store brand or any kind of aluminum foil. Go get Reynolds. It costs you 2 or 3 cents more per foot, but go get that. Get the heavy duty. And if you ever put a big piece of meat on aluminum foil, you will notice a difference between heavy duty and the non-heavy duties. You will notice a difference. Now, saying that, I spoke earlier that we're going to talk about briquettes and coal, charcoal. Here's the benefit of both. Charcoal will last longer. It will burn slower. So when you open your grill up, it takes longer for charcoal to get back to the temperature. Briquettes will burn hotter. They also will burn faster. That's just the way it is, okay? Now, if I want to get hot heat, I'm using briquettes. If I'm slow cooking, if I want to cook very slow, I'm going to use charcoal. And don't cut corners on the brands. There's a reason why some brands been around, say 500 years, and some brands been around, say 2 years. It's like buying a Traeger grill versus some of the other ones that want to be Traeger. Reliability, sturdiness, and it's going to be there for the long term. I will give you a brand that if I was going to cook for my family, I will always use a Weber. I will use a Weber grill. A Weber is simple. You can fix it yourself, and a Weber simply is made for the long term, and it's been around 500 years. There's a reason why it's been around 500 years for coals or briquettes. Briquettes are definitely going to burn hotter. It takes longer for them to lose the temperature, but coals, man, they get hot quick as hell, and they will go up to 700-800 degrees. Coals will do that. Coals will do that. Briquettes will not do that. But when I say coals, you have to get lump coal. Lump coal is totally different than regular coals. Lump coals are even smokier than briquettes or coals. And once you start them, they are going to sizzle for hours. But now a briquette will sizzle longer, but it will not get to the temperature of a lump coal. Just can't do it. Nope, just can't do it. Briquettes need less tending to. Lump coals need more tending to because they will burn faster and hotter. So that's very important. And if you really want to do the test, get one of your kids, put the left hand in where the coals are, and put the right hands where the briquettes are, and you will see he's burnt off one hand, other hand is still semi-functional. Yeah. Use your kids for a lot of testing theories. I once had 6 kids, and I'm down to 2 because I was testing them out on grills and other type of things. So that's where it all starts at. But those are the 15 things that can make you a better grill master. Show your friends, brag to your friends. You're not going to impress me because for a lot of us, they're common sense things. And we know a lot of people don't have common sense. So it is what it is. But, you got a lot of companies that would tell you differently. They're all wrong. We got a variety of grills. We got pellets, we got lump coal, we got briquettes, we got Traegers, we got Camp Chefs, we got Webers. We got a lot of different grills. We test them all the time. We understand direct heat, indirect heat. We understand that you don't put certain meats above other meats. Yeah, you don't put a brisket on top of chicken. No. You don't do that. That's trying to mate. It's like trying to mate an alligator with a snake. It ain't gonna happen. No matter how much you hope and how much you think it is, it's not gonna happen. So we tried different things. We tried different foods, but more importantly, we want you to be successful this year. Now, a lot of you won't be. You won't be because you have the passion to barbecue. You just don't have the knowledge to learn how to do it right. And we don't want you to be a barbecuologist. No. We don't want that at all. We want you to be a grillologist. You know, we got PhDs, Doctorate of Barbecue. But like I tell you all the time, if you can grill, you can barbecue. This is coming from a master judge, Kansas City Barbecue Society master judge. I'm giving you advice and hints. Showbiz Eats, we are giving you advice so you can be successful. It ain't about us. Your friends would probably never come to one of our barbecues or one of our grillologist classes. Not your friends. Because see, we weed out those who are never going to be good at it. We weed them out. I don't want your money. You don't need my time because there is no hope. Hope is not a good strategy unless it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're at a nightclub. Then you hope things go right. But when it comes to food and on the grills, you can't hope. If you do it right, you'll be fine. You do it right, you'll be fine. So Showbiz Eats want your 2001 year with your friends and everybody else, because hopefully this vaccine will allow people to gather again. If they don't even gather, come by and pick a meal up. Come by and pick a meal up. So we want that to be a better year than last year, where you cannot have your friends and everybody you think is your friends or are your friends. We want it to be a better year for you. We're always going to have a great year because we're always learning, trying different things, experimenting to tell you what's best, what works best for you and for your friends. And we're very critical, and we want you to be the exact same way. So this is Showbiz Eats. We're out. 2021. This is the first episode. We want you to have a very good year. And if you don't, it's your own damn fault because you didn't listen to our podcast. Peace.